Imagine answering a phone call from someone who passed away years ago. That's exactly what happened to Sarah. Her husband, Mark, had been gone for 3 years, but one rainy Tuesday, his number flashed on her screen. A missed call. She dismissed it as a glitch, a cruel trick of technology. But then it happened again, and again. Each day, a single missed call from the number that was supposed to have been disconnected years ago. The phone company was no help. They confirmed the number was inactive, that no calls could possibly be originating from it. Yet the missed calls kept coming. Sarah's grief, once a dull ache, sharpened into a raw, gnawing fear. Was she losing her mind? Was this some elaborate, sick prank? Her friends tried to reason with her. It was a spoofed number, a technical error. But Sarah knew Mark's number better than her own. It was etched into her memory, a relic of a life she no longer had. The missed calls felt less like a glitch and more like a message, a desperate attempt to breach the veil between worlds. She started sleeping with her phone clutched in her hand, her heart pounding with a mix of terror and a sliver of impossible hope. 1 week after the first call, on the anniversary of Mark's death, the phone rang. This time, it wasn't a missed call. It vibrated insistently on her nightstand, a shrill cry in the dead of night. Sarah stared at the screen, at his name, at the picture of them smiling on a beach a lifetime ago. Every instinct screamed at her to ignore it, to throw the phone against the wall. But a stronger, more desperate part of her needed to know. With a trembling hand, she swiped to answer, her breath catching in her throat. She pressed the cold glass to her ear. Silence. A heavy, static-filled silence that seemed to stretch for an eternity. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "Mark? Is that you?" More static, like a radio searching for a station between worlds. And then a voice. It was faint, distorted, but unmistakably his. The voice she longed to hear every single day. But it didn't say, "I love you," or "I miss you." It was a single, urgent whisper, a chilling warning that made the hair on her arms stand up. "Don't look behind her." Her blood ran cold. She was frozen in place, her back to the dark, empty space of her bedroom. Don't look behind you. Why? What was there? The rational part of her brain screamed that it was a recording, a cruel joke. But the terror was primal, absolute. She could feel a presence, a cold spot in the room that hadn't been there moments before. Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the suffocating silence. She squeezed her eyes shut, pulling the blankets up to her chin, too terrified to move, too terrified to breathe. The line went dead. The next morning, the sun did little to chase away the chilling fear. Sarah felt like a stranger in her own home. Every shadow seemed to move. Every creak of the floorboard sounded like a footstep. She had to know what was real. She called the phone company again, her voice shaking as she recounted the night's events. The representative was patient but firm. "Ma'am," he said, "I can assure you, our records are definitive. No call was made from that number to yours at 2:17 a.m. In fact, that number has not existed in our system for over 36 months. It was impossible." She heard him. She heard his voice. Desperate for proof that she wasn't going insane, Sarah checked her voicemail. Her hands trembled as she navigated the menu. "You have 3 new messages," the automated voice announced. 3? She had only answered one call. Her finger hovered over the play button. The first message was just static, a low hiss. But underneath it, she could just make out a whisper. Her name. Sarah. It was faint, drawn out, like a breath on a cold window pane. The second message was the same, only the whisper was clearer, closer. Sarah. An icy dread washed over her. This wasn't Mark, or at least not the Mark she knew. This was something else. something that knew her name. Her fingers shook as she played the third and final message. The static was louder now, angrier. And then, through the noise, two voices. The first was the whisper, a cold, ethereal sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Sarah. But it was the second voice that shattered her reality. It was a reply, a voice she knew intimately because it was her own. And it replied to the whisper with a single, terrifying word. Yes? She hadn't said that. She never said that. But there it was, her own voice, captured on a recording from a call that never happened, answering a whisper from beyond the grave. The phone slipped from her numb fingers and clattered to the floor. She stared at her reflection in the dark screen of her phone. Who answered that call? If she was in her bed, frozen in fear, who had picked up her phone and spoken to the thing that was pretending to be her husband? The realization dawned on her slowly, a creeping horror that eclipsed everything else. The warning, "Don't look behind you," wasn't for her. It was from Mark. He wasn't warning her about something in the room. He was warning the thing that was already there. The thing that looked just like her. The thing that was now smiling back at her from the phone's dark, reflective surface. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chilling tales. Let me know in the comments what you would have done in Sarah's situation. Stay safe and always check your missed calls.